Welcome back, guys! I'm here with another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing, why do people commit idolatry? Well, it's because humans have a tendency to take laws into their own hands. When God delivered the Israelites from Egypt, for example, they were amazed, they were excited. It was awesome, and they glorified God because they were free now. But by the time problems came, they forgot about God. They said, look, we need a solution to the problems we're going through. So we're going to build a solution. They built a golden calf in Exodus chapter 32, and they started worshiping that. It wasn't that they didn't know that God could solve the problem. They felt that their solution would be better than God's solution. The same thing happened in 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 1 to 8. Samuel's sons were wicked people. They could not rule Israel anymore. So, they needed someone new. And instead of looking for God's opinion, they just said, let's have a king. Everyone else has a king. We should have a king too. They thought a king would be the best option for them, even though God would know much better than they would. This kind of attitude started all the way back in the Garden of Eden. Because in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 to 17, God told Adam not to eat the forbidden fruit. But Satan came and said, hey, you don't need to listen to God. You can do your own thing. You can be rebellious. Because of that advice, Adam would sin in Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 to 6, and he would lead humanity to death. Why would Adam do such a thing? Even when he knew the consequences? It's because humans like to reason stuff without thinking about what God would like. But overcoming this is simple. When we learn about God and come to understand Him, we can understand in turn His power. We can believe in the power of God. We can look to Him and say, okay, this guy is knowledgeable. This guy knows how to fix my problems. It was said in the book of Psalms, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Psalms chapter 121, verses 1 to 3. King Jehoshaphat is a good example of this, and my advice is that we imitate him. He could rely on God's power, which was why when there were a bunch of nations coming to attack in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, he said, God can handle this, so let's all put our faith in him. And in verses 22 and 23, God did not disappoint. He caused all the other nations to fight each other instead of fighting Israel. That is what happens when you believe in God. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. Why do people commit idolatry? It's because they think that their reasoning is better than God's. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.